Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, cops and robbers, and aliens of the internet. This is Devin with Gaming in Progress, and today we're going to be looking at the K10. A little bit of real-world history for the gun, by the way. The K10 is based off of the Super V platform. The first version of this being the Vector, which, as many of you know, is chambered in .45 and takes Glock 21 magazines. This configuration of the K10 is very much the same. Now there are some differences, such as the way the charging handle works, the bolt release and the mag release are all now ambidextrous now. The charging handle is located in a different position and pulls down instead of back. Now in my opinion, this is one of the best submachine guns in the game, simply because it is very accurate. Now, what I mean by that is, I don't mean accurate in full auto fire, I'm talking about bursts. As you can see there, while I didn't have enough shots downrange to completely kill the target, I still could have with a couple more bursts. Which is something that's pretty impressive for a gun that's designed for close quarters combat, to be able to take down opponents at medium and sometimes even long ranges. Now this is quite an advantage to this gun in my opinion, even if it doesn't do it perfectly. Now a couple other things I would like to talk about is my preferred setup for this gun. Now there's two ways I prefer to set this gun up, which are almost identical, just with a few alterations rather. Now the first way I generally have it set up is the way you'll see right now. I have an EOTech or a holographic sight on top and a red dot, and that's about it. The only other thing that I will sometimes add is a suppressor, but that really depends on the map size and how I'm going to be playing. Because if the map is too big, you're going to lose too much range with the suppressor to be very effective at all. Whereas without it, you can still be fairly effective at medium and even longer ranges, as you will see as we go on. Now if you're trying to shoot a target at longer distances, I would definitely suggest firing it in short bursts, as that seems to help keep it very stable. Now we're going to take a look at the stats here in just a couple minutes, but I just want to show you guys a little bit of how it plays and the play style that you're going to want to be doing. It's a lot of run and gun tactics with this gun, and as you can see, if you are in a close quarters engagement, it is very easy to take down your target even without aiming at them, and that's where the red dot really comes in handy. As you can see, I was able to take out that guy with a couple bursts before being taken out by this guy who's just sitting up on the ridge with his Scout Elite sniper rifle. Okay, so we're going to look at the stats now. So let's bring up the gun here. As you can see, it is very much like the original Vector. One other difference that I forgot to mention is the stock on this version actually is retractable instead of just side folding like on the original Vector. And the barrel is just a little bit longer, but the whole thing is actually appears to be a little bit more compact than the Vector is. The Vector is a pretty large gun, whereas this one seems to be smaller in size, but has some improved features. So we're going to look at the stats here. The Vector, or the K10 in the beta rather, has 34 maximum damage and 12 minimum damage. That's about the same for most of the submachine guns right now. One disadvantage it has is it has a smaller magazine size of only 26 rounds. However, the drop-off for the maximum damage starts at about 10 meters and ends at about 30 meters. Now this is better than the other submachine guns that I will talk about in other videos. Now, let's talk a little bit about the reload time. Its short reload is about 1.5 seconds, which is fairly good, and it's better than most of the other submachine guns in the game. Its long reload time is not as good. It has a 2.23 second reload time if the gun is empty. And then the threshold for the reload time is about 0.75%. For the recoil, the first shot recoil is about on par with the Uzi, which is at 2.4. And then we also have the recoil decrease, which is about 20%. Now, if we look at the recoil directionally, which this will be on the screen. I will put this in the video, and if I can't put it in the video, I will have it in the description. If you look here, it's about 0.22 degrees upward and 0.45 degrees left or right. Now, it's got better stats when compared to the Uzi for Hipfire, which is about the same for standing, crouch, and prone, which is at a factor of 1. Now, what that means is your bullets are going to fly about the same whether you're standing, crouch, or prone while you're firing from the hip, which is pretty good. Now, the aim down sight spread is the same across the board at 0.4%. Now, the only other thing I really want to talk about is the spread decrease and increase per shot. Now, it has a lower increase per shot, which means that as you fire, it's going to increase. Your spread is going to further apart more, but it's not as bad as with the Uzi that has a 0.108 spread increase, whereas the K10 only has a 0.085. Both of which have the same spread decrease, which is 15. Now, there are a couple other things that you might want to consider when running this gun, and that is the suppressor. The suppressor can be both a gift and a burden, especially when it comes to this game. Now, when I say that, you have to take into account that as a different type of Battlefield game, you're going to die a lot more, but so is your enemy, because you're not going to have access to military-type armor as cops and robbers. As you can see, I was able to take that guy out fairly easy with a suppressed weapon at quite a long range for a submachine gun, which is fairly impressive in my opinion. It's all about how you're playing and exactly how you want to get your kills. And it also depends on the current layout of the map, which is something you have to pay attention to as well. I try and change things up as much as possible depending on where I'm attacking from, what I have to defend, and so on. Suspect eliminated. And while it does have a lower round capacity for the magazines, the short reload makes up for it quite a bit. As you can see, I can do fairly well with it without having too much trouble. Now, I did get beat out by the MP5 there, but that was mainly because he had more health than I did at the time. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this video. This is a little bit shorter video than I'm used to making, because this is more of just a quick gun review than it is a playthrough that I'm used to doing. I wouldn't really recommend any of the canted irons or red dot sights or anything past a ×1 optic. As with most submachine guns, it's just ridiculous and not necessary. One thing I do want to talk about before we go is the weapons license for guns in this game. Now, you may have noticed that certain guns are only available on certain sides, which means, for example, the K10 is only available on the police side, and the Uzi is only available on the criminal side. Now, once you get 300 kills with a given gun, you unlock a weapons license that allows you to use the gun on either side regardless of your faction, as you can see in the description. Now, if you really like a gun, I would really recommend working towards that as soon as possible. It's something that I'm going to be working towards with the K10, as I really find myself enjoying this gun. I will probably post another video once I get that unlock, just as a kind of little signification that I got to it. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If there is any guns you'd like to see me review, for example the Uzi in comparison to this gun, leave a comment below. If there's any game modes, maps, or anything else you'd like to see in Battlefield Hardline, let me know as well. And finally, if there's anything you'd like us here at Gaming in Progress to play, you can leave a comment in any of our videos. I'm fairly good about reading all the comments and questions and such.
Got one over here.
This review was actually requested by somebody who commented on my video. I do not remember your exact name, but I'm pretty sure you know why I posted this video, and it was at your request. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope everybody else has enjoyed the video. Be sure to share and subscribe. And this is Devin with Gaming in Progress, signing off.